Yo, peeps, what's good? This is episode 88 of the Streamer's Paradise podcast. I'm Hazeyy. We got Clutch, Bo, and our special guest, Ragnarok. What's good, boys?
What's going on, man?
Good, everybody. What's good?
What's good, guys? How we feeling?
Doing pretty good, man. Feel pretty old. Working my ass off. Hell yeah.
Feel that too. Shit.
I was gonna say, you guys know I told you just before, but rough couple of weeks. But
Yeah, you were saying your wife
chugging
just
along.
your wife is feeling it. Your kids are feeling it. Everybody's fucked up.
It's going around.
Pretty much.
Well, today we have got a very special episode. We're going to talk about one of the craziest things I've ever heard of. I got to be honest, I've never been more blown away by people's firsthand accounts of a situation. And we're going to do this the same way we did the first one when we had Ragnarok on, where him and I are going to talk about this instance with Bo and Clutch, who don't know about what we're going to talk about.
Purposely didn't look it up because I'm looking forward to hearing you guys explain it. So
Right, exactly.
It's a wild one.
I wanted to look up some of it, and like I said, between the couple weeks, I was just like, I guess they're just gonna tell me everything.
I did ask you not to look it up. Like I said,
I wanted
you could,
to look up a little
could
bit
if you wanted.
Nah.
You know,
I didn't even have
I'd
a
rather
chance.
not. I want to hear all the details now. It's gonna be exciting for me.
this is it's
Cheating.
one of the craziest things I've ever heard. So what it's called is they essentially call it the Brazilian Roswell. The Brazilian Roswell is what they refer to it as. Now, Ragnarok had something interesting to say earlier. He said, "Where were you both in 1996? What were you doing?"
Not
Do
only
one
what
at
were
a
you
time.
doing, but how old were you?
Yeah, and how old were you? So, Clutch, 1996.
I was 3 years old, so I don't remember what I was doing. I don't
about you, Bo?
remember.
Literally, he was literally living his best life. Everybody
Right,
came
right,
to
that's
him.
right.
They was just chilling. I was so in 1996, I was 10,
You were 10.
and I was probably riding my bike and telling everybody to fucking suck it. I think that's like 96, right?
Right. So I was 9 doing the same thing. Ragnarok, you were
I was 13.
13. Okay. So now let's go back to that time. Now, Clutch, I'm sorry you can't play along with the class here.
It's okay. No worries.
Right? But let's go back to 9, 10, and 13, right? What was the world like in 1996? And from what I remember, the internet was not something that even remotely close to like it is now. There was the internet, there was AOL, it existed.
Dial
What
up.
grade are you in at 10?
5th.
I think
Yeah.
5th grade, like I think 4th grade, I got my first computer, and I remember my uncle like helped my mom pick it out, and he's like, these are some of the best specs, and it's
Yeah.
wild because it was 4 gigabytes of fucking hard drive. The hard drive was
Yeah.
4 gigabytes, dude. I remember,
And the RAM,
I was
the
like,
RAM was
wow.
megabytes.
I think that it might have even been kilobytes
That's
at
the
that point. I don't even
megabytes.
fucking
Yeah, it's
know.
kilobytes.
Oh shit, I remember that. Oh my god.
Oregon Trail and shit.
I don't even know if I even looked at a RAM spec. Like, I don't even know if I knew what RAM was. Like I just was like, oh, there's
10,
4
you didn't
gigabytes
know.
of space. You know how much I can store on here, and now that's like 4 pictures.
Yeah. So you think about the news, right? The way we look at news is very different, right? I don't trust the news anymore. Like I see something on television or on the YouTube television, essentially, right? YouTube, Fox News or CNN, whatever, wherever I see it, I'm very cautious of what I believe. But I feel like in 1996, it was a different place, right? We trusted the things we saw on the news. I would think that, right? Like you
But I
believed
think
what you heard.
I feel like
You didn't
if
have
something
any other
happened,
source telling you different.
but it's not even like this happened today and we're hearing about it tonight. Like this happened last week. You know what I mean? Like it took a minute for the news to travel back.
That's what I'm saying, right? So
Like,
even
true.
when something happened that was very important, it didn't travel nearly the way that it does now. So 1996, I feel like you could still get away with covering things up. And that's why I'm bringing this up, right? So
Yo, 96.
Brazil.
Tupac was shot in 96. 96?
Yes, he was. Yes, he
Yeah.
was.
And we
September of
still don't
96.
even know who did.
Yeah, we do. He just got arrested.
I'll say they
Oh,
know.
did he?
Yeah.
Oh, just kidding. I guess I don't watch the news.
Yeah, they did get him.
Scratch that.
Just kidding. Back to fix that in the edit.
So now let's go to Brazil. Let's talk about Brazil in 1996. Now they're not exactly like the most advanced technological country, right? Like I don't know what people
Well, hold
would
on.
say. We
Okay.
are a first world country, right? I don't know what though that country would be considered, but it's not a poor country. Like they have a navy, they have military, they have all these things, right?
They have esports
So
teams.
they have tons of they have everything that
They
we
do.
have.
Yeah.
They have
Soccer.
everything that we have. So, but there's something about Brazil, and now I start to say this, right? So let's go back to 1957 now, right? 1957, Ubatabu, Brazil, September the 7th. Witnesses observe an object descending at an extreme speed towards the Toninhas beach. But before it hits the water, the object explodes. The fragments that were collected on the beach are sent to a lab. They're analyzed, and the next day, the paper headline reads, "Scientific analysis confirms extraterrestrial magnesium." Now, they actually have a picture of this, right? It's I sent you the picture, Bo, you can pull it up. It's hard
I
to
just
make out what it would be. But that right there is fragments collected on the beach that were sent and analyzed. And this is apparently a piece of a spaceship that crashed in 1957 in on the beach. Where was I? Right, in Ubatuba, Brazil. So that's 1957. In 1958, Trinidad, Brazil, January 16th, a photographer named Almiro Baruna on a crew aboard the Brazilian Navy vessel witness a disc-shaped object moving over the ocean. He grabs his camera. He takes a picture. Witness from the city named Donna Marie and Jose Sintra dos Santos, they had a close encounter of what they call the third kind. Okay, they seen this object, this thing here that you see. It's right there in the right side. This isn't the 50s. This is the 50s now. You got to remember. So they're claiming that this was an enormous thing. Donna and Jose claimed that they could actually see beings on this craft. They asked her how big it was. They said it was enormous. They said that when it flew away, the hospital that she was working at lost power. Okay. Now, these are just incidents from the 50s. Now, we fast forward a little bit to 1986.
Can I interrupt you a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
And so the whole hospital losing power thing is a frequent thing that you find in stories about people that encounter UFOs. There's always anything electrical malfunctions, and so it's very indicative of what's going on with aliens. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, because there's got to be some kind of electromagnetic disruption or something, right? Of
Yeah.
some sort. So, fast forward again. There's not any picture evidence that I can come across until 1986. Several documents have been declassified over the years, documenting different encounters with UFOs. Several with people claiming to see occupants on these crafts. In 1986, the Sao Paulo Navy the Sao Paulo Navy, right? 6 fighter jets chased more than a dozen UFOs. The Ministry of Air Force confirmed this encounter in a press conference, claiming that they couldn't keep up with the craft, let alone identify it. In 1998, a young man named Alan Bruno captured a UFO on his video camera. It moved and it behaved like a drone. Now, if you pull that picture up, you can't even tell where it is, right? Because it looks like just another lamp post. But pull that one up, Bo.
This blue one. This
No. It's the last
Oh, no.
picture I sent.
Yeah. So I got it up now. I got it.
I'm sorry. I didn't send it. My bad. It's right there. So it's
JK,
literally in the
JK.
middle. It's the smallest light in the middle there at the bottom.
This one.
Down. Yeah, that one right there. So that thing was moving around almost like a modern day drone. Like you would see a regular drone with some lights on it moving around now, you'd be like, "Oh, it's a drone." But in 1996,
I
right?
don't think a drone was a thing in '90s. Like
No, not at all. So
it wasn't even like a thought.
this was considered a UFO 100%. So these are all things that have happened leading up to this 1996 thing. I'm lagging, aren't I?
Yeah. If you were
Streaming,
hosting the
I'd be crashing.
podcast, we'd be dead.
Yeah, we'd be dead. All right. So I hate that. So let's go a little bit into the actual story, right? So these are different instances of UFOs that have been documented in Brazil. Now, the most compelling case is the one we're going to talk about now, the Varginha incident. They consider it, right? The Varginha UFO incident involves a series of events in 1996 where residents of the Varginha, Brazil, claimed of seeing strange creatures and at least one unidentified flying object. Others claimed include capture of one or more extraterrestrials, authorities, animal fatalities at the zoo, a woman impregnated. The reports have garnered extensive media
Holy crap.
coverage, right? This is all truth and lies. This is not all true. This is just what the headlines say, right? The headlines say the residents of Brazil claimed at seeing one or more strange creatures and at least one identified flying object. Other associated claims include a capture of one or more extraterrestrial beings by the Brazilian authorities, animal fatalities at a zoo, and a woman impregnated by an extraterrestrial. These reports have garnered extensive media coverage. So, January of 1996, North American Aerospace Defense Command, known as NORAD, warns the Brazilian authorities that their radar has picked up UFO activity near Varginha, Brazil. By January 20th, news of the UFO crash has spread across the globe as strange creatures are reported by military and civilians in the town of Varginha. So, Rock, I'm going to let you go take over here a little bit.
Okay.
This is where things get incredibly crazy. Now, you heard all what I said, right? They're saying that they actually captured one. They're saying that they grabbed one.
Yeah,
They're saying
absolutely.
that somebody got pregnant. Like, there's all kinds of crazy shit people are saying. They're
Well,
also saying
that's
it went.
actually pretty wild.
They're
Not
saying
only
that
did
it
they
went
catch one, but they took it to the hospital.
right. So let's go here. Go ahead, Rock.
All right, so we're going to start to the very beginning of this.
Go ahead, close that picture
of the story with the very first eyewitness we have here. So this on the night of January, I don't know the exact date, but it obviously happened in 1996.
January 19th.
Was it 19th?
I think it was because they're saying
Okay.
by the 20th, news was all over the place.
Okay.
But regardless,
right, there's a gentleman by the name of Carlos del. I can't say. I murder his last name. Can you say his last name, Hazeyy? Del Santos.
yeah, Del Santo,
Yo,
Sintra
ask
del
Clutch.
Santos. Is that
I
the
don't
right
know.
guy?
I don't even know.
Oh yeah, as Clutch.
I probably could pronounce it, but I just don't know what's his name.
Orlini Enrico, which name was it?
Carlos
Carlos, the
del
guy that saw
Sanza.
it in
Sanza.
the Carlos Sanza.
Yep. So he witnessed a cigar-shaped aircraft slowly making an approach towards the ground, smoking. Looked as if it had a tear on the side. It was a cigar-shaped craft, and apparently, obviously, it had crashed. So he goes and investigates the crash, and he immediately is aware of the nasty smell, pneumonia, sulfur, made him pretty sick, and but he ended up so that's the crash. He makes it to the crash. He comes across this metal, which I attribute to memory metal. Has anybody ever heard of memory metal?
It's when you it's metal, like it's kind of got the same kind of thing as like chain link, where
Well,
you
it's
can
more
like
like the consistency of aluminum.
right. Oh, right, like aluminum, but
Yeah,
it
right.
goes back to its original form, more like
Yes,
rubber,
yep.
rather than getting crumpled up and staying that way.
Yep. So he apparently he finds this piece of metal, and as he's investigating the crash site, it didn't take very long for there to be a heavy military presence after the craft had crashed to the ground. And it wasn't very long after the military had showed up that they pretty much forced him out of there
At gunpoint.
at gunpoint. They threatened him, and so I'd also want to make it very, I think it's noteworthy too, to say that after they had threatened him, two individuals had made a visit to his house, and I believe this contributes to the Men in Black theory. The theories of the Men in Black. And then obviously he was told not to say anything, not to share his story, otherwise there'd be consequences. And then the guy, in all intents and purposes, disappeared for 26 years.
So that's him on the screen right there.
Absolutely.
This is
Wow.
96. 96.
Oh, that right there is 2023.
Yep.
So he gave the initial interview before anybody told him not to say nothing. Right? He talked to a camera. Everybody was just confused, right? News doesn't travel the way that it normally travels today. Traveled differently then. So things happened a lot slower. He talked first, and then he's fucking being told by these men in black that you can't talk about this anymore. And then he disappears for 26 years until they track him down for this interview where he is taking that piece of wood and he's describing what Ragnarok just told you of the crash, right?
Shape
So
of
Yeah,
the
the
crash.
shape of the
No,
aircraft.
but when was the crash
Wow.
was 96?
6.
96.
Yep. January
Yes.
96.
So the crash happened in 96. He describes it like there was a hole in the side of the craft, right? Like it was damaged and it was moving very slowly, but there was smoke coming from it, but not black smoke like a fire. Smoke that we would consider vape smoke almost now.
Right.
Right? Like it wasn't a thick smoke. It didn't smell like anything and it didn't make any sound. Right? No noise, which is incredible to think about.
This craft crashed about a quarter a mile off the expressway as well. So I'm gonna assume that he is not the only eyewitness of the crash.
Yeah, it had to
No.
be 10 people that seen that, right?
No,
You know what I mean?
tons of them. So there's if you go up, there's the woman and the man with the mustache,
Sorry, I was
or
chuckling
Alina
at
Enrico.
Mom's.
Yeah, she's funny. This one right here, I'll tag you in it again.
No, Ma, there's no picture of the craft. At least not that I was able to find.
So
The
no, they
mustache, right?
saw the craft. They didn't see it after it had crashed, but they saw it hovering over them. It was over them. This woman saw that she's claiming that she could actually see people in it. This woman said that she could see. I think. Hold on. Let me make sure.
Yes. No, you're absolutely correct.
I am right?
Yes.
This woman said that there was no sound. She could tell it was in trouble. Now, both
And
of
that
those
she could see
people,
occupants inside the craft.
right? And but there was no sound and there was no smell of smoke. Same exact thing. Those people gave a statement 26 years later, but I don't know if they talked then. I'm not sure. They talking now though. So those are other witnesses that had seen something in the sky that looked like a cigar that was damaged what would it have been damaged from, right? Like, what would it have
That's a
crashed
good
into?
question.
How could something that's so futuristic and advanced and robusto, you know what I mean? How
Well,
could
if NORAD was tracking this craft, it's very possible that they tried to shoot it down.
I mean, that's a whole nother theory. Could you
Right.
imagine?
I mean, isn't that what they do?
Yeah, it sure is. It is, but you would think that if we had some kind, it wouldn't. Who knows? So
You go down a
so
whole other rabbit hole with that.
yeah, a whole nother rabbit hole. So here's where
That's
things get
next
interesting,
next
right?
week.
Here's where things get interesting. Rock was just saying that there was a heavy military presence already, right? As soon as everybody was calling in, and there was this. They describe it like this craft was looking for something, right? They describe the craft kind of going going down and then turning, right? Doing like a
Yeah.
360, right? Going back, looking again, and then not having enough power and kind of crashing down, right? Then this man says that he runs up to the wreckage, picks it up, right? Picks up a piece of it.
Yep. That's where the memory metal comes in place. At least that's what I call it.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Well, memory metal. He described it as a very thin piece of metal with the consistency of aluminum.
That he bent and
And
was able to.
he crushed it. He crushed it up into a little ball, and then it was able to reform back into its original shape before he had wadded it up.
Right.
So if you think of like when you're grilling, you take a sheet, a piece of aluminum foil, and you crumple it up. That's that's pretty much what he described it as, and it just unraveled itself back to its original shape.
So this is the same man, right? That they didn't talk to for 26 years. He didn't talk to anybody. What they decide to do is bring him to the crash site where this happened to get him to talk about it. And this man he cries.
He got very
Being-
emotional.
So
Yeah, very
let me
emotional. Going back.
interrupt you to
Go
ask a quick question from this memory metal. He described
Touched
it in 96 or 2020.
Well, he both. Like he essentially described it. He gave his eyewitness statement back in 96, and then when the
Hold on,
so
I got you a
what
picture.
Yep.
Hold on. It's a simulation of what he's describing. But
Yep.
The reason I ask is because 2023 and what we know about space is very different than what we know about space in 1996. Like, our
Absolutely.
knowledge on the topic is very different. The reason I ask is because
open that picture.
our knowledge now on space and black holes, this says that we can't go through a black hole, right?
Might
But
be able
this
to come out one.
this concept of memory metal,
Where it bends.
if it can bend and retake shape,
Wow.
would actually
Yeah.
make sense. But you wouldn't know that
Wow.
in 96. You wouldn't know that until now.
It would
That's why I
have
was
to
asking.
but it
like-
would have to have some form of limit, because otherwise you'd get crushed like the fucking
But I
submarine.
mean, these are extraterrestrials. These aren't humans.
I know, but like what you said
So-
made crazy sense for some reason, right?
Well, that's
Like,
why
didn't-
it hit me, and that's why I was like, was he explaining this in? If he's explaining this in 96, that's a different level of knowledge, right? You don't have this knowledge back then.
So he describes that the smell made no sense. The smell, nothing. I saw a piece. It looked like aluminum, the foil that you wrap chicken for roasting, right?
Pretty much.
Insane.
Like
I mean,
I
that's
took
what
a
it looks
small
like,
piece.
right?
It was very light. Right? He crumpled it up, and when he released it, it went back to the original shape. He's very clear about this in 2023, right? So
Okay.
this fucking guy touches this ground where he's at and says, "Beings died here. Beings died here," and cries, gets emotional, right? Now,
Yeah.
he describes the motion of this thing looking for something, right?
Yeah.
What's he looking for, Rock?
What do you mean? What he's looking for?
What do you think that the ship was looking for?
Well, I mean,
Like according to
like,
the story, right? Now
I would
that
I would assume he was looking for a buddy, like
right.
somebody got left behind.
Somebody that got left behind, right? Maybe during whatever struggle, they said that this thing was open. Okay, so look. So this is before we go any further, this is what the I'm gonna post this real quick. This is the description of what is happening, of what Carlos Sansa was saying happened to him. He was trying to bring the metal to the military guy. He was trying to say to them, like, look, the smell is really bad, right? Like, this is what he's saying the scene was. This is what he's describing
This
it
is a
as.
depiction of 96,
Memory, yes.
Yep.
but drawn up in 23, right?
Drawn up in 23.
Yep.
Yep. So you can see his face is over the thing because he can't fucking stand the smell. He's touching the stuff, right? All that stuff. So
It says that it smelled like sulfur and ammonia.
ammonia, yeah. So people are saying that this is. I mean, what do you think it is, right? So this thing is damaged. It crashes. What are
It's a
they
weather
looking
balloon.
for, right? So we go to a little bit further. I'm gonna have Ragnarok tell you about this, but there was 3 little girls.
Yes, this is my
I got the
this this part of the eyewitness statement
Be right back.
is it's pretty. This one got me pretty good. So there's like Hazeyy said, there's 3 little girls at the time. They're obviously adults now because it's been 23 years or whatever.
almost 30, almost.
Yep. So two of them are sisters, and one of them is just a friend. And their names, I have their names. Laline Valcara and Sylvia Valcara. Those they're
The 2
sisters. Yep. And then Katia Xavier is the other the third.
Yep.
They come across I'm not quite sure what they were doing, but they ended up coming across this being that's obviously we know that it's the one of the beings from the aircraft or from that aircraft.
You
And
want me to pull up the drawing?
yeah, go ahead and pull up the drawing. So these three girls come across this thing you see in the picture, crouched down next to a cinder block wall, and of course, scared the living shit out of all 3 of them. I mean, being a kid, I'm sure I'd probably be scared to death of seeing that thing
I
myself.
would say at 10 years old, I think
Imagine.
I would have hauled the fucking ass, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine walking outside. You're with your 2 cousins. You're with your cousin and your sister, right? And you fucking just look to your left and you see them. Now in that picture, you see that her pointing at the wall. Go back to the other picture. She's pointing, saying, "This is where it happened."
Assuming it's right there, the spray paint mark,
Probably.
right around all the gunshots.
Now I'm gonna assume that graffiti was there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was like maybe police marking, like this is the location, right?
Like a
after
chalk outline.
Yeah, like just an area, like this is the area.
Right. So
I like to hope the
I also-
gunshots were there before.
So I'd also like to say too, like during all their interviews, all the interviews that were done with these 3 ladies, neither one of them mentioned it being an alien. They used the word demon. They described it as a demon every time they were interviewed. Never once did they use the word alien
or creature that
Right.
I heard them say once. Creature, strange animal, right?
So
That's crazy.
they described this thing being 120 centimeters tall, which I'm not sure what the conversion for that is.
Casey's already.
But so they like I said, they described it as being 120 centimeters tall, brown skin,
4'1".
4'1". So okay, so brown skin, or like it looked like it had some kind of oily substance all over its skin. V-shaped feet, a large head, and large red eyes. Obviously, you can tell from the picture. But the thing for me about this particular incident is that they also stated, one of the girls, I'm not quite sure, I don't remember which one, or did I catch which one, but it spoke to one of the girls telepathically. And it was, according to the girl, that it was telling her that it was suffering, that it was injured, and it needed help. It scared the shit out of the three of them, and they split.
Oh my god, it's crazy. It needed help.
That's
You
what it
did
said.
that? Shit. Oh my god.
That's the way that they described it. That they described it
Assuming
like
this is a
Give me that
newspaper article
chills. Give me that chills.
from
yeah, that was
96,
the
right?
the news article from '96. Yeah, so they
This
describe
drawing in
a footprint. They make her draw a footprint. The mother of what she saw in the dirt. Right, it looks kind of like a elephant foot, almost like with 3 toes.
Yo, I was gonna say
There's
they put this in the newspaper in '96. The United States would
no.
No,
So
absolutely.
that's
this would never like.
so they say it smelled worse than sulfur. It was worse than ammonia. It was worse than anything that they had ever smelled before. The smell was insane. They washed their noses out with alcohol and with water, like, because it was so terrible. They couldn't stand this smell. Right? So when the girls run away, we
Also,
discussed this already. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I also like, so apparently, like, supposedly, this incident happened 6 days after the initial crash.
Right.
Oh,
That's
so
true.
So
I forgot that part.
seeing
how
that. Oh, okay. The alien? Seeing the alien?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they had the crash happened 6 days later. 6 days later, this encounter happens.
we
Right.
know, or, like,
That was
you
an
guys know the distance from
Wow.
crash site to where this happened?
This
I
all,
do.
I
it
don't
it
know,
all
like,
happened very close together, but I don't have so if you go to this next
That's
picture that I
crazy.
just sent you, I just sent you another
Wow.
picture. Go to this picture.
If I got it.
Okay, so this picture here, it represents where the military blocked off the roads, where the girls had the encounter, and the capture happened. If you go move your mouse to that spot
oh,
at the top
we
where
haven't
there's
got to the
grass.
capture yet.
I know we haven't, but go up there to that. See where the
area
mouse
here?
is? Yeah, right there. That's where the capture happened. So this is where I was going with this. 6 days later, these girls come out and see this thing. It's cowering, afraid, and it's hurt up against a cinder block wall.
Assuming it's
Okay.
this wall back here, like a far part of the
Where the girls' encounter
Where it's
was. Yeah.
yeah,
Where the
yeah, like
girls'
right here
encounter
in
was, right
this.
there.
Okay.
Right? So the girls run away scared. And they said that this creature was scared too. So that thing clearly leaves where it was and goes to, it leaves. It fucking, I don't even know what else to say.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
girls
look, if I
split, and
was
then
like in
it
an
split.
unknown, if I
Get
was
the
in an
hell out.
unknown area, all unknown everything, I couldn't speak your language, looked at me and turned around and ran, I would probably be like, okay, well, I'm fucked, but I also need to get out of this area.
Yeah.
You know,
Going from
like
his side.
Right.
Going
Right.
their
Right.
side. Okay.
like I can't stay here. Like they're clearly scared of me, and I don't know what's gonna happen.
So what happens at this point now is I need you to go to the very first picture that I sent. The very
The guy
first
that
one at
picks
the
them
top.
up, picks her up.
Yep. So what happens now is there is a gentleman named Marco Shirizi.
Yeah. Now the military is getting involved.
Right. Now the military's involved. This is the gentleman who apparently touched this being. Not only did he touch him, but he held him like a small child, and it screamed like a baby or a kid crying. The alien creature, when it was grabbed by this man, it screamed like a child, which is so creepy to think about. Like just think about this 4-foot alien that is got it smells like complete shit, right? It's all oily, and this oil is coming off of him onto you, and it's sticking to your clothes, and it smells like something you've never smelled before. You're 21 years old. This kid is it's a kid. This is a fucking kid, man. 21, right? And he jumps into the truck with this being and another driver that his name was Ed Lopez. Is that what his name was? Ed Lopez?
I'm not sure if that was his name. Everything that I've saw, they refer to him as Military X.
Military X. So they bring I don't even know. Go ahead a little bit, Rock. I'm trying to find something.
Okay, so like Hazeyy would say, so this Marco guy, mind you, these two dudes, Marco and Military X, these guys are MPs. They're military police. They'd see the creature, and this encounter happens 3 hours after the girls have their encounter. So you have the initial crash. 6 days later, the girls have their encounter. 3 hours after that, Marco and Military X have their encounter.
And
They
this
see,
encounter is this grass spot, right?
yep,
Second, like, okay, so within 3 hours has moved.
yep. So they see the creature run across that little grassy field there, that vacant lot. Marco jumps out of their vehicle, grabs the creature, captures the creature, and
They
I
traveled
guess,
to the hospital.
yep, they take him to a hospital. Um, whatever substance is on this creature's skin gets on Marco, because obviously he had come in contact with this, by grabbing him, catching him, and putting him in the truck, and then taking him to the hospital. Obviously, he had contact. Whatever that substance was on that creature got on him, caused an infection that he couldn't fight. 3 weeks later, that infection killed him.
So he touches this being, gets this slimy oil on him, and 3 weeks later dies. His sister is speaking today on this platform that they've created for this, and says that her brother would not tell her specifics, but he did verify that it was true. Like, this is what exactly, do you remember what he said exactly? I don't want to misquote him.
No, unfortunately, I don't. I never come across that.
That's insane.
Let me go back to his
It was all
sister real
crazy.
quick.
So wait, what happened with the thing?
So hold on. So basically what happens is this thing goes to the hospital,
Not the
and
vet, right?
it goes to the hospital, and a doctor is told to take x-rays of it. This doctor is speaking to the camera, talking to them today, saying that this thing was alive and its eyes were fixated on him while he was taking these x-rays. This thing's eyes were just looking at him. It didn't say anything, didn't speak, but the eyes followed him as he was doing his work. He was never allowed to see the x-rays that he took. So he took x-rays of this being and then was not allowed to see the
Doesn't
results
know
of those
anything.
x-rays.
That's wild.
Wow.
No,
Wow.
everything
Right.
was confiscated by the military.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the being was then put into a box, and then it was
Stainless steel
transported,
box.
a stainless steel box, and was transported someplace else, and it was never seen again. Right? They cleaned up the wreckage. They got the body out of there, and it was gone. But this is where the shit gets really fucking hairy, man. Okay? Because we've got all of these people talking about this as if they were the firsthand experience in this, right? Like the doctor said, I saw the being looking at me. Right? So that was those are firefighters that were involved in the
This
capture.
guy was involved in the capture too.
Right? The guy on the right. Yep. Or Alina Enrico, the father of the teenage girl who tried to get his daughters to lie about what they had seen. Right? Then there's the two teenage girls, and then the other three with them with the cousins. So all three of them together. Now there's the talk of what they were all saying was people came and offered them money to change their story. Right? All of them were offered money to change their story, and the mother of these two girls and the cousin refused to lie because she didn't want to paint their daughters to be liars. So they didn't accept any money or anything like that. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So the Marcos Teresi ends up dying 3 weeks after he comes in contact with this. His sister is left pretty much to pick up the pieces, right? She has no idea what happened. She doesn't really know what the hell killed her brother. He didn't tell her anything direct, and now everything is gone, right? Everything is gone. Now what? Now we have to find out who was with Marcos Teresi that night. Somebody was driving the car that he was in.
That's the military X guy.
Right.
And he's pretty much like the only one that can corroborate everyone's story. And
he can tie it all together and say that I drove this being with Marco Teresi to the hospital. And then it's like he ties everything in because they have a doctor that's saying, yes, it came to the hospital.
Yep.
And yes, they took it. I don't know where they took it, but they did say that the Americans came with 2 helicopters.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, the USAF, the
United States Air Force.
Youth Air Force, yeah.
There you go. Yep.
And took it.
Yep. They but another thing too, like I want to backtrack a little bit to Marco's experience or encounter, because there's another incident with him where the alien spoke to him telepathically as well.
That's what the sister said.
So so according to to the eyewitness statements, her story was that it had said to him, to Marco, that it was sad because humanity has yet to realize their potential. And then it was taken into the doctor. Doctor did the examination, the X-rays. Obviously, military confiscated it. The U.S. got involved, and it disappeared.
He was told that the smell of the thing stayed there. It didn't
lingered.
leave.
Yep, it
he
lingered.
was told
hospital?
that. Yeah, he was told that he can't say anything. Anyone who was involved in the transportation of ET or anything like that disappeared. That was in the military.
They even closed huge sections of the hospital down.
They literally I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. They literally a chief of the military, some general, I forget who it was that was involved in this, disappeared, never to be seen again. Anybody who had touched this thing or gotten close to it on that night or whatever just vanished, man. So many people's families talking about how they just disappeared. So where did they go? Were they all just given money and told that they have to disappear? Because that's most likely probably what happened. And if you're asking me what I thought.
That's what I was thinking about too. Like somebody just paid them off, go live somewhere else, give them money.
Like we're not talking about a story. Like talking about an incident that
Trying to
really
find that general's name. Give me a second.
Harming anybody. Like if you gave me the right amount of money, I'd be like, yeah, I won't tell them.
Right? At that time too, At that
But yeah,
time,
90,
you
yeah,
know,
especially in like in that time where like money was worth something.
So
but a
this
whole new
is
life somewhere else, you know.
this is some hand drawings that the girls made of what they saw themselves. They were very big, not human-sized eyes. What I don't understand is why the fuck am I just hearing about this? That's really what I want to know, man, is why am I just hearing about this now?
Oh
So
yeah, 28 years later. Right, what is it?
right. So what's bringing this story back into I don't know, circulation or whatever I guess
Is the doc,
you
yeah.
want to call it. There's a documentary out called The Moment of Contact.
Where this is where all this is coming from, all this information. Sorry, Rock. It's
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, so there's a director by the name of James Fox that spent the last 10 years talking to these eyewitnesses for of this incident. Put together a documentary that's titled
The two sisters.
Moment.
yeah, and today.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
This is all
And,
three of them together. Go ahead,
right.
keep going, Rock.
And James, like I said, James Fox spent the last 10 years talking to getting everyone's statements, trying to find out all the information he possibly could. And he put out a documentary called Moment of Contact. That's where all this is coming from. So
So were all
this
these
may
pictures are from the
Yeah,
documentary?
it's
Yes,
coming right
yeah.
out of the documentary.
So this may have happened back in 1996, but is being pulled up because of this documentary.
So this is what they're describing the seeing him in the road. People described seeing it in the road. Marco Cerisi grabbed it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to like get as much of it as I can for you
We only
guys.
got like 13 minutes to go. Like,
taken to the hospital. This is the way they
sorry,
described it.
Hadouken.
Yeah,
So,
so that's
let me ask this
apparently him.
documentary, who the author or the person leading this document, writing this, making these, is he someone who was involved
No.
back?
No, not at all.
How old do we know?
Uh,
Like how old this person is?
Yeah, he's. Go ahead, Rock.
I don't know how old he is, man. He's like
Probably
our
50.
age. Yeah. So
Okay, so he was
Hazeyy-
he was alive when it happened. And he was an adult
yeah.
when it happened.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Kind of what
yeah.
I'm wondering.
So if you want Hazy, the interview that I'd sent you, the YouTube video, drop the
Yeah.
link in the chat, and people could check
Yeah,
that
do that.
interview out
Drop
for
that so people
themselves.
can take a look because
Yeah.
we're giving like bits and pieces, but
Like, I kind of like painted a perfect picture to me. Like, this shit gave me the creeps.
Now
So
this isn't the
I was just
documentary,
joking,
but this
Hadouken.
is an interview that somebody did with the director of the documentary. But
Yeah, this will give
Okay.
you a lot of the information with that guy. Like,
it's like an hour and 45 minutes, I think. I think the interview is an hour and 45 minutes long. But he does mention that you can actually watch the documentary on Amazon. If you get it on Amazon, you also get an additional 2 hours worth of stuff,
Okay.
I
there's
guess.
so much information, man. It's so much. The fact that we crammed it into 50 minutes just now is nuts. But this one was a good one because this is so much information and it's the most real thing I've ever heard. Like, how can you? How can you
Was
not?
this author? Do you guys know? Is this author of the documentary? Is he Brazilian?
No,
No, he's
he's
American.
American.
American? Okay. Well, no, I'm just wondering if it was like something he had read that newspaper and then
Experienced or whatever.
like
No.
maybe he just read the paper and he was like spent the next 28 years of his life trying to figure out what happened and finally put it together. Track
He
down
had a-
some people. I'm just wondering
So-
what made somebody
Right. So
what made him like explore this.
So
He had a-
this picture I just sent you is the doctor that treated Marco Cerisi
Maybe
And-
it didn't send.
because my internet's so bad.
Loading.
So that's the doctor that helped him, and he's saying to the camera that he was trying to say as much as he could to help himself, but he was restricted from saying so, according to his sister. It's not sending? It's sent on my end. I'm probably just doing too much.
Yeah, or or the aliens or the U.S. government. No, we're chill with this shit.
They restricted it.
Somebody's like, you need to chill.
I don't
They're
see
worse
it
than
either.
fucking. They're worse than
You
Vince
said him
McMahon.
to read,
Oh, I'm
bro.
sending it to Rock. That's why. That's so funny.
Rock's got like six. He's got like 6 copies.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I'm like, it's not sending.
Did you take a gummy already?
Whoops. But while you're sending those pictures over, Hazey, so Bo, you asked like what compelled this dude to do this
Do
documentary?
the next one.
This is the doctor.
So-
This guy's the doctor right here, right?
Yeah, that's the doctor that helped Marco Shirizi, and he was like, "Yo, this guy's
Not the-
fucked up with something I never understood."
Not
know
the
what I mean?
doctor that did the X-rays.
No,
Different doctor.
that guy won't be on camera talking with his face covered.
Yeah.
He's got his back turned. Go ahead,
Wow.
Rock.
So, like I was saying, Bo, you had asked what compelled this guy to do this documentary. Apparently, he had a colleague that was very that was familiar. I don't want to say familiar. That's not the right word I'm looking for. But anyway, he knew about this incident, and I guess he like hounded this guy. Like, hey man, you gotta go. You got to check this out. You got to talk to these people. You gotta go down there and you gotta investigate. And he
Okay.
blew the guy off for a little while. I'm like, nah, it's no offense, but it really ain't my
You
kind of
sound
thing.
crazy.
You know?
Like, yeah, you
Right,
sound
right, right.
crazy. And
Well, the dude finally convinced him to do it, and here we are.
That's awesome.
unnamed
It's just
dude.
crazy.
Well, no, just like a
he gives
friend
his
of a
name in the
filmmaker.
Well, no,
interview.
like I just wonder if it's somebody that's like is like this doctor doesn't want to be mentioned.
He's
Like
just-
I'm wondering if
Oh no, no.
I have a weird train of thought. I'm just connecting dots in my.
No,
So
I hear
the
you.
link to the video, the
I'm gonna
the
probably end up
interview,
watching 2 hours of this.
he
Bro,
does.
watch
real.
the
Say his
actual
name.
thing. What'd you say, Rock?
I
didn't hear
said
that one.
in the interview with on the link, the video that you put the link in the chat. That interview, he does give the name of the guy that was
Okay.
like poking him.
It's not
like, hey,
somebody
go
who's
check
like
this shit
behind
out.
the curtain
No.
that doesn't want
No,
to
he-
be named. Okay.
Yeah, he gives his name. I don't recall it.
No, it's all good. I'm just wondering if it's more or less like just like the man behind, like the Wizard of Oz telling them.
Right.
You know,
Pay
somebody
no
who's
attention
like
to the man behind the
this
curtain.
cool. Yeah, well, no, because if that's the case, it could have been somebody who happened to again be in Brazil at the time, but doesn't want to be involved, but wants to. Or is it just somebody who heard about it who doesn't care if their name is?
No, he didn't care. This is the craziest shit I've ever ever. I've
It's
never seen
It's wild
heard
that there's
anything
so much
crazier.
information on it
Mhm.
because I
I
feel like
I like
you know,
the scenery, like the change of scenery, how it started from the cigar to the encounter to like now seeing them 3 days later. That like the chain of events, I think is so fucking insane.
It just lines up so nice,
Yes.
man. It's everything. The only missing piece is the guy driving the car with this dude, Marcos Shirizi. I mean, yeah, is it Marco Shirizi? Yeah,
Yep,
sister of
Yep.
Marco Shirizi is the guy that died because he grabbed the thing. But we also don't know like if other people died because apparently it wasn't the only one that was captured. Apparently more than one got captured, according to like some reports. But
See,
at the same time,
I was under the understanding that one was the one that was alive, and then they recovered bodies from the wreckage.
right, that's what it was. Sorry. You're not
Okay.
wrong. They captured one that was alive and then there was other ones dead.
So it was pretty much like aside from the live specimen and the death of the officer, the infection, like it was pretty much a carbon copy of what happened in Roswell.
You know what it also makes me think of? The other encounter that we talked about from the 50s. With the other episode that we did about aliens with you, Rock. How they
Oh,
said that they could see the beings standing on the disc.
Yep,
right?
yep.
Like you could see,
You can
it's
see him
almost
into the
like,
window, right? Like
yeah, like you can see him through this clear metal or some shit. Like imagine if spaceships, if like legit UFOs are just
Right.
like,
So let me put this little food for thought, I guess. So, the nuclear bomb, when was that invented?
the
Does anybody know?
40s.
40s. Okay. Um,
No, it
5, 10 years.
happened. Wasn't it World War One? I might be fucked up. Didn't we dropped it on Nagasaki and
That's World War II.
Hiroshima's.
That's World War II.
it was it World War Two? Okay, so it
Yeah.
was the 40s then, yeah.
And then so what I'm trying to so we invented the nuclear bomb, we dropped it, and then we get all these now we're having all these encounters with alien sightings, people seeing aliens, spaceships, UFOs. I mean, so and that's like the consensus is the moment that we
Got scientific.
the moment that we hit nuclear superiority is when we started to see aliens, UFOs, and started encountering these
They may have
things.
piqued their interest. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
Like that,
Yes. Well, the
that
nuclear
technology,
power
that
is
discovery.
so destructive. Plus, let me try. I know this doesn't have anything to do with the aliens, but there's an element on Mars called xenon that is only produced after after a nuclear explosion. Mars is covered with this element called xenon. That's only that they know is I guess what I should say is, as far as we're concerned and like science here, we've only been able to produce with nuclear explosions.
That's insane.
Yo, deadly.
I mean, but that's a whole nother, like, again, that's a whole nother rabbit hole we can go down. But I mean, it definitely, the moment we hit nuclear superiority, there was a huge influx in UFO sightings and alien encounters. So those two events coincide with one another.
I don't look for this information. Like I'm sure there's a lot of it out. But when we talk about it on here and you guys bring all this up, I find it so very interesting that the stories, regardless of when they're from and where they're from, a lot of the information is like, a lot of it is the same, similar. What we saw, what we smelled. Because I believe the last one we talked about, they had said that it was a very potent smell as well. And like you
Right.
said, the appearance of the spaceships and being able to see right into them, even though they were at a distance, similar.
Yeah, on the other side of the world too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In completely
Yes.
different time periods, like completely different times and locations. Where we're in a time where news didn't travel. It's not like today where like if this happened, where everybody would know about it tomorrow. Right? Like there's like there's no way like somebody watched one person say some crazy shit on the news and was like, "Hey, you guys want to play a joke?" You know what I mean? Like you guys want to say the same thing? Like you know what I mean? It's not like the information was easily accessible at the time.
Right, it's true. And then, I mean, it's not the same thing as like crop circles either, which is a whole nother
Where it's
fucking
like, yeah,
thing.
some crazy motherfucker could have went out there and map that out
Put on a
at
mask and
night and
shit.
some
Like I
shit.
don't. But see,
Yeah.
Well, the thing
I
about
actually, but
crop circles too, man, is like any place that has like a genuine UFO sighting, there's never crop circles.
oh,
Well,
they're
there's never
so
anything other than a small isolated incident with very similar and specific details.
foggy memory. The thing is, I don't
Yeah.
get is why this one is so clear to everyone because clearly there was some distress going on and they weren't able to do whatever hocus pocus they normally do.
Well, that
I
could
can't
be,
wait.
that's
All
another
right,
thing.
guys,
Like, oh shit.
time check.
Shit.
Listen, this
Let's
has been a great
go.
episode,
For
and
real.
we'll catch you next time. This
Thanks for
one we're
having
gonna
me on,
all have
guys.
to take a picture where we're like, do
Yeah.
it,
Oh,
do it real
We just
quick.
do it right now, right? Like fucking There you go. You got the thumbnail.
He got it.
All right,
That was
All right,
awesome.
guys. Have a good one, peeps.
Later.
Love you all.
got a little countdown, but
I'm not sleeping tonight, guys.
Hell yeah.
oh yeah, sorry you guys had such a long break from us, but we won't do that again.
Yeah, sorry
yeah,
about
yeah.
that. It was my fault. And then
Everyone
Bo's
And then
fault.
my fault. And then my fault. We got you guys. Catch you later.
Later.
Peace.
Peace.